As you know, the swine flu has been all over the news. In fact, the Centers for Disease Control in Atlanta estimates that between April and November of 2009, roughly 47,000 people in this country were affected by the H1N1 virus, and nearly 9,800 died from it. More recently, we've heard about pets getting the flu. Only a few, but it confirms that it is possible. So today, we've come to Lenox Hill Veterinarians on Manhattan's Upper East Side to talk to Dr. Lawrence Putter about how you can keep your pet from getting sick. How would a cat or a dog get the H1N1 virus?
These animals are getting it from the parents who are infected, the owners, mom, dad, children, people who are sick at home in bed, and the animals in close association with them. And they're either sneezing or coughing and aerosolizing the viral particles, and the animals are getting exposed that way.
So what would be the symptoms?
The symptoms are upper respiratory infections, coughing, sneezing, runny nose, maybe runny eyes.
Lethargy, fevers, pneumonia, which would increase respiratory effort from animals.
Very similar to if a person had the flu.
And the symptoms would be the same for a cat and a dog?
Absolutely, yeah.
So what would be the treatment?
Treatment is antibiotic therapy, possibly oxygen, depending if they have pneumonia. Depends on the severity. So if it's mild, maybe nothing. If it's pneumonia, then intensive care.
Is there a vaccine?
For the swine flu, for animals, there's no vaccine.
There's no vaccine.
Okay.
So, for example, we have Simba here. Simba is our kitty spokesmodel. We have dog toys for Simba. How old is Simba?
Simba's around 14.
So Simba's an elderly cat.
That's correct.
So we hear of with people, either the elderly or somebody with a pre-existing medical condition, it makes them either more vulnerable to getting the flu or to having serious complications because of it. Would the same be true for animals?
I would say yes to that, though we don't have much experience with the swine flu because we've had very few cases. But in general, when you're an older animal or an older person, your immune system is compromised and may not be as good. But I always emphasize to my clients that age is not a disease, but it just has to be taken into account that the animals may be compromised and it may be harder for them to fight off a disease.
If you have one pet that let's say Simba got sick and you've got Simba in your house and you've got other pets, like another cat or a dog, do you recommend keeping them apart while the animal's being treated? Or
if you're dealing with influenza, it's contagious, so I would recommend separation. Yeah, and the same goes for a person. If there's a person in the house that has swine flu,
right,
you don't want the animals hanging out with the person. You don't want them in bed with the person. That's how it's being transmitted. So basically, a bit of quarantine.
Let's talk about, there's a regular flu for dogs, right?
Canine Influenza,
which is a relatively new virus also. It's only a few years old. That was a horse virus that originally started in the equine population. That virus mutated into the greyhounds. It started in Florida. They were feeding the greyhounds raw horse meat, and the virus mutated into the dog population. Here in a while that we've seen, but we had a couple epidemics up here, and that's going back a couple of years ago.
And so, same symptoms, same course of treatment?
The same symptoms, and we have a lot more information on the canine influenza than we do in swine flu. Swine flu, we only have one case of a dog having swine flu at this point, but canine influenza, we've had thousands.
Right. So
statistics, we have a lot more information available for relating to that virus. And in that virus, we have maybe out of 100 dogs, 20% of those 20 dogs are not going to show any symptoms. They'll be, asymptomatic, but the other 80 dogs will have symptoms. And out of those 80 dogs, maybe 10% of them will develop pneumonia.
Dr. Putter points out that while the swine flu can be passed from people to animals, as of the filming of this program, January 2010, there is currently no evidence that your pet will pass it on to you. He also warns ferret owners to take precautions because just like cats and dogs, ferrets are also susceptible to contracting the H1N1 virus. As for the canine influenza vaccine, Dr. Putter recommends it only for dogs who are exposed to other dogs. For example, if they're being boarded, attending doggy daycare, or being walked in groups. For more information on pets and the flu, visit the resources page at allforanimals.tv. And remember, if you're thinking about adopting a pet, please make yours the next great rescue story and head to a shelter or contact a rescue group near you. I'm Susan Richard. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time on All for Animals.